Hello, paper crafting friends. It is Amy with amyrich.net. I am here to share an alternate paper pumpkin project for the February 2026 kit called Celebrate Spring. This was a really fun kit because it had a lot of little pieces that I could try to create with. And I think I came up with a really fun card that you're going to enjoy. It's easy. And it is what I call a modified gatefold. And it's modified because it doesn't come together in the center, but it's super cool. Now, if you are watching and you're like, I don't have that paper pumpkin kit, it's okay. You're going to see an idea here that you can use with lots of other products. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope it inspires you to create. One of the things I love about February's paper pumpkin kit are all of these fun die cuts and printed card bases. So many cool things here. And the first thing I'm going to do, which might seem a little bit odd, but the first thing I need to do is to put my eggs in my basket because when I got going on this alternate project in my paper pumpkin party, which is the free class I give to my subscribers, I honestly forgot to put the eggs in my basket, and then I had to finagle and maneuver things, pull up parts of the basket to make sure it gets up there. So I just put a little adhesive at the bottom of the eggs, the bunch of eggs, and then I added them right to my basket. So thank you for sticking with me there for that part. And then I'm going to do a little bit of trimming on my card base. So let's get the rest of the stuff out of the way for now. And grabbing my trimmer now, I am going to do a couple of cuts. I'm going to turn this upside down here so I can cut 4 inches off of this piece like that. And I'm going to take the other end. So I've got this little short scored part here. I just don't want to get that in my 4 inches that I'm going to cut from the other side now. So I've got this piece left over. All right, throw that. We won't be using that. And then I'm going to turn this and cut it at 5 1/4. Okay, so this piece is ready to go, but we still have to doctor up this one just a little bit. So we're going to do that by putting this in at 2 3/4 now, 2 3/4, so that we're going to cut this off. This you can use on something else. There's, I'm sure, something adorable you can do with that. We're going to set it aside though. And then we're going to cut this at 1 3/8. 1 3/8 is 1 plus, 1, 2, 3, not the teeny little hashtags, but the other ones, 1, 2, 3, right before the 1 1/2. Okay, you can do it on either side if you have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. It's nice to be able to do some of that measuring over here if you are right-handed especially. So you can hold on with your left hand and cut with your right hand. So 1 3/8. And then this is a kind of a picky little measurement, but we're going to flip it around, cut it at 4 inches so that you get another 1/8 of an inch off of here. So that this is what you have left. I know it's a little putsy cutting, but I liked the way that turned out in the end, so I wanted to make sure that's the way it stayed. Okay, next thing is a little bit putsy. I'm going to use my paper snips, and I'm going to cut fussy cut around the flowers all the way across this piece. So just watch. I'm going to speed up the camera a little bit as I go, and then at the end we'll take a look at the finished result. Now what I don't want to do is cut up into here or do any funky weird cuts. I want to go from this side to that side without cutting up or over any extra little pieces off, because we want all this intact. Okay, so now what you have are two pieces that look kind of funny, but that's the look we're going for here. And bringing in a piece of balmy blue cardstock. This one measures 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. We're going to add this piece up here so that you've got a nice small border around the 3 sides here. So let me bring in my liquid glue for this one because I want to get down into those skinny little sections that look so funny, but we want to make sure those are adhered into place. All right, so getting that situated here. There we go. All right, so everything is in place here. Now we're going to bring in our basket. And for the basket, we are going to layer this here, something like this. And a couple things I want you to think about as we do this. When we adhere this down, this is going to go over the top, but we still want that little border at the bottom. So don't put the basket too far down that when you go to put your flowers on, it's going to stick out past the border. That's a bad look. So put it up high enough to do that. Also, I'm going to add a few mini dimensionals to the handle. Now, I know this sounds kind of weird where we're just going to pop up the top section of this basket, the handle only, but I think I don't know, it creates a really interesting dimension there that, I don't know, I just like the way it looks. So that's why I'm doing it. Sometimes that's all you need. You don't need a real reason except that you like it, right? So I'm using my take your pick tool to get, especially I've learned to use it with the mini dimensionals because my big fat fingers have a hard time grabbing those otherwise. So then I'm just going to add adhesive down here and layering it into place now. Just make sure that you've got that little border at the bottom. You can have it hang off a little bit at the top. It's no big deal. It's just fine. Then we're going to adhere these flowers back into place, making sure that we kind of fit them in where we left them off. Now, if you want to, you could use dimensionals for these. I am going to use just regular glue, and then I'm even probably going to curl out a couple of those flowers so they stand out a little bit. But we want to make sure these edges all kind of go into place. Ah, so cute. So cute. So we've got the basket sitting down there in the flowers. Ack! Love it. All right, and then the other thing, one of the other things that is in this kit is just a small spool of pink twine. It looks pretty in pink to me if you're thinking Stampin' Up! Color-wise. And I'm just going to put that through the handle where I don't have any dimensionals. And I'm going to tie that in a bow over here on the handle of my basket. Cuteness. Cuteness. You can trim that down, whatever size or length you want. Okay. Now we are going to do, and I forgot to do a little stamping. So I'm gonna bring in my grid paper from my new Stampin' Positioner, and I've got the little grass stamp. Can't believe I forgot to do that. Not quite as serious as forgetting the eggs, but still. All right, so now I'm just gonna add some grass. at the bottom. See, it just adds a little grass. Like it. I like it a lot. Do I sound Midwestern there when I say grass? Oh man, it's so funny when my family and I get to talking about accents and how Minnesotans really do have an accent. And then my mom is like, no, I haven't noticed that before. And then all of a sudden, when we pointed it out to her, she's like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize. It's funny. All right, then we're going to add grass to this piece that we cut off the card base. And this is simply just going to be the inside of our card. And that's super sweet. Super sweet to have a little grass in there. And then we'll be able to make the inside look pretty also. And while we have our ink pad handy, I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this square from the kit. Sweet Spring Greetings is what I've got going here. And it is a really nice fit. Of course, it was designed to do that, to fit like that. And then I'm going to grab another piece of Balmy Blue cardstock. This one measures 2.5 by 2 5/8. Why such a weird, not square? Because this sentiment piece is not square either. So see, this way it fits perfectly, and this way not so much. Notice there's no border on left and right. So that is why the Balmy Blue isn't a square either, because we needed this to fit on here perfectly like that. Yay. Okay. Bringing this over now. This is our card base, and it measures 10 3/4 by 5 1/2. And I've scored it at 1 5/8 and 3 1/4 from each side. So this is where we're going to fold in on the inside score line and out on the outside score line to create a modified gatefold. The gate isn't going to meet in the center. That's why I'm calling it a modified gatefold, because it's just a little different design here. And then taking that piece that we've decorated with grass, we're going to add that to the inside of the card. Now, if you wanted to, you could have stamped your grass on the more white side of that piece, but I really like that light blue background, like a sky, and then putting that up against that Balmy Blue is really nice. I think it looks great. Then for the outside panels, I've grabbed some of our Easter Joy Designer Series paper. Look at how cute that is. We're going to cover that up though. Why? Why would we do that? Because of that. It's too cute. So the Designer Series paper is cut 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. And then I'm mounting that onto Shy Shamrock. That is 1 1/4 by 5 3/8. And then this fits just right on our panel on the front. And I've already got the other one ready to go, so I can just adhere that onto here as well. Then we're going to add the decorative panels that we created. We're going to start with our Easter basket. This is going to go right up here at the top, so we're only going to want adhesive on the left third or so of our basket piece. So I'm going to put a couple strips of Stampin' Seal down the left edge, line that up give it a little border so we can see that plaid. Perfect. And then I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to actually add Stampin' Dimensionals down the right side. So grabbing a brand new dimensional sheet. That's so weird. I'm just going to put 3 down the edge, and then if those dimensional backings give you any issue, go ahead and use your Take Your Pick tool. You can easily remove those. The reason why we only put dimensionals down the right side is that we want to be able to tuck this piece underneath it. So now we're going to add this with the same-ish border as we did in the upper left. Adhere that down, and now we can tuck that Easter basket in behind, but then reveal the whole thing when we open up the card. Adorable, isn't it? Okay, we just have a few pieces left. We need to add our little flowers here. So we're going to add our little flowers. There are a couple different ways you can do that. You can add a little liquid glue to the center of this, but you see I already was working on curling those petals a little bit. I like dimension on flowers and leaves and things like that. So I just used a glue dot. You can use one from the Paper Pumpkin kit if you'd like, or just from your roll that you've got in your craft room, if you have a craft room, or at your craft desk. And we're going to add the large one there, and then we're going to take this one, and we're just going to snag one of our little mini dimensionals. I've been using those a lot lately. They're so handy. Perfect for something like this for sure. All right. I'm starting to use the Take Your Pick tool as almost a crutch. Like, I gotta have it. Gotta have it. Okay, super cute. And then there are some adhesive back sequins in the kit. So we got to make use of those too. We're going to just put a few of those in the centers of our flowers. And there are a couple different colors here. I don't know if you can tell the difference on the sheet, but super cute card. And of course, whatever saying or sentiment you want on the inside, you can stamp that as well. There are some really cute stamps left here on the Paper Pumpkin Kit stamp set sheet. So you could do Happy Easter in there, Hello Friend, or whatever it is that you want in there. So thanks for joining me for another fantastic fun fold with our alternate paper pumpkin project. Can't wait to see you back here for what we have in store for March. It's going to be fun. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss a single video tutorial.